Orlando has a dream, and no, it's not another theme park. It's actually a baseball dream, a $2.5 billion gamble. But this isn't a wish upon a star. This is happening right now, and it starts with the Dreamers, a group of former sports execs, billionaires, and MLB veterans. They're trying to bring Major League Baseball to a city that's never hosted a single MLB game. And they want to do it with a 45,000-seat domed stadium planted right in the middle of Orlando's most chaotic tourist corridor. They're promising youth baseball fields, community benefits, and a huge boost in tourism dollars. But behind the scenes, the reality is a mix of billion-dollar deals, political pushback, engineering headaches, and a ticking clock. So, how do you convince a city to give land to billionaires? How do you build one of the most expensive stadiums in American history without a confirmed team? Let's dive deep into the most ambitious sports project Orlando has ever seen. In 2023, Pat Williams, a former Orlando Magic executive, launched the Orlando Dreamers. The group had one mission: to bring an MLB franchise to Central Florida. And not just any franchise. They wanted a top-tier, future-facing, state-of-the-art club that would call one of the country's fastest-growing metro areas home. To do that, they announced an aggressive funding plan: $2.5 billion in total commitments, $1.5 billion towards buying or starting a team, $1 billion set aside for the stadium. The $1.5 billion isn't all hard cash. It includes letters of intent, verbal investor commitments, and backing from large institutions. Still, the Dreamers are confident. They say that part, the hard part, is already done. They've lined up Barry Larkin, a Hall of Fame shortstop, as an ambassador. They've secured billionaire Rick Workman, founder of Heartland Dental, as an anchor investor. Attorney John Morgan, a political powerhouse in Florida, is also involved. The pitch? Orlando is the largest U.S. media market without a baseball team, and the only one in the top 20 without a franchise. The Dreamers want to fix that. Their stadium isn't just a sports venue, it's a futuristic dome built for Florida weather. With 45,000 seats, a retractable roof, full air conditioning, and a wraparound fan experience, the design is built for summer heat and sudden storms. And they want to put it right off International Drive next to SeaWorld, the Orange County Convention Center, and a brand new Universal Studios theme park. But if you're wondering what the catch is, here it comes. The Dreamers say the perfect site for the stadium is just south of the Orange County Convention Center. The land is centrally located, walkable from hotels, and already surrounded by massive tourism infrastructure. It sounds ideal until you start looking closer. First, the land is public. That means it's owned by Orange County and it's not up for grabs. The Dreamers want the county to either donate or discount the land, which spans a massive footprint. They're looking at well over 20 hectares to fit the stadium, surrounding plaza, parking decks, and access roads. The mayor of Orange County, Jerry Demings, has already pushed back. He says the county shouldn't give land to billionaires. His stance is firm. If anything, billionaires should compensate taxpayers, not the other way around. And he's not alone. 3 out of 4 commissioners say they don't have enough information to move forward with a public-private partnership. This is critical, because without public support, the Dreamers can't pull off the budget they've pitched. Yes, they've secured $2.5 billion in potential funding, but $1 billion of that is supposed to cover construction. If they have to buy land at market price, that cuts deep into their budget. So what does a $2 billion stadium actually look like? And why does it cost so much? Let's break it down. This thing is massive, high-tech, and designed to handle Florida's unpredictable weather. The big centerpiece? A fully enclosed, glass-paneled dome. And yes, it's got a retractable roof, one that can slide open and shut depending on the weather. Now, this roof isn't small. We're talking about something that could span more than 200 meters across. That's longer than 2 football fields laid end to end. It'll cover the entire stadium, shielding 45,000 fans from sun, heat, lightning, and even hurricanes. And that's no exaggeration. The roof has to survive Florida's wild summer storms and possibly winds over 200 kilometers per hour during hurricane season. So the materials used, likely steel trusses and structural glass, have to be insanely strong but still flexible enough to move without cracking or bending. The whole thing will sit on a steel skeleton, kind of like a giant exoskeleton for the building. That steel frame will be held up by huge support columns made of reinforced concrete. These columns have to bear thousands of tons of weight from the roof, lighting systems, scoreboards, speakers, and even the retractable roof machinery itself. Now, underneath that roof is where the fan experience really comes alive. You'll have a full seating bowl that wraps around the field. It'll hold 45,000 fans, including standard seats, luxury boxes, VIP lounges, hospitality clubs, and standing terraces. Some of those suites alone can cost millions to design and build. And every fan, no matter where they're seated, gets a 360-degree concourse. That means you can walk all the way around the stadium, grab a snack, hit the restroom, check out a merch store, and still see the field the entire time. The field itself won't be natural grass. It's going to be high-grade artificial turf. That's because real grass doesn't do well in covered stadiums. There's not enough sunlight or ventilation. The turf will include advanced drainage systems underneath to handle rain and prevent puddles, plus cooling layers that keep surface temperatures low during hot months. To move fans in and out of the stadium smoothly, the Dreamers plan to install between 15 and 20 escalators and elevators throughout the building. That includes accessible options for fans with disabilities in line with ADA guidelines. The restrooms and concession areas are also expected to be far more spacious than what you find in older ballparks, built for fast service and big crowds. Outside the stadium, they're planning to build at least 3, possibly up to 5, multi-level parking garages. These would need to hold more than 10,000 vehicles total. That means tons of concrete, elevators, ramps, and traffic flow planning to avoid backups before and after games. And all of this, every light bulb, speaker, and air conditioner runs on power. A lot of it. Now let's talk about the cooling system, because this might be the biggest hidden challenge of all. Orlando summers are brutal. Temperatures regularly pass 35 degrees Celsius, and with 45,000 people packed into a closed stadium, things get hot quickly. So the Dreamers will need a massive air conditioning setup, something called a central chiller plant. This plant will include industrial-sized chillers, think refrigerators the size of small buses, that use cold water or refrigerant to cool air, which is then pushed through miles of ducts. And to keep it all running during a game, the system will likely require over 10 megawatts of power. That's like powering a small town. They'll also need backup generators, so if there's a blackout during a game, fans aren't stuck in the dark. But the biggest challenge may be what's under the stadium, the ground itself. Orlando's soil isn't the best for huge buildings. It's sandy, soft, and in some areas prone to sinkholes. That's a nightmare for a stadium carrying over 80,000 tons of steel and concrete. So engineers will likely need to stabilize the ground before they even start building. How? First, they might use a method called vibrocompaction. That means they literally shake the soil using machines until it becomes denser and more solid. In softer spots, they'll drill deep into the earth and pour concrete or stone to create underground support columns. This is called pile driving or deep foundations. And to help distribute the weight more evenly, they might use geofoam, lightweight blocks that reduce pressure on the ground while still providing stability. All of this ground prep could take months and cost tens of millions of dollars before any steel goes up. So when people ask, why does this stadium cost so much? This is why. The original estimate was around $1.6 billion, but with steel prices climbing, labor costs rising, delays in shipping materials, and new safety regulations, Jim Schnorf, one of the Dreamers' founders, says the total cost could now hit $2 billion. That's a 25% increase, and they haven't even broken ground yet. And the longer they wait, the more prices can climb. You can't build a $2 billion stadium without politics, and Orlando's leaders are already making their voices heard. Mayor Jerry Demings is drawing a line. He's not against the project, but he doesn't want county land handed over without strings. He references the Amway Center deal, where the Orlando Magic built gymnasiums across town as part of the deal. So now the Dreamers are playing defense. They're promising to build 6 lighted youth baseball fields and 6 youth softball fields, one for each Orange County district. That's 12 total fields, each with lighting, fencing, drainage and parking. They're also promising jobs, tourism growth and new infrastructure. But here's the problem. None of that is officially signed. There's no development agreement, no formal MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, no planning approval. And the longer this drags out, the more it hurts their timeline. MLB isn't waiting. Expansion decisions could happen before the end of the decade, and if the Dreamers don't secure a team or buy the Rays, by then, this entire $2.5 billion plan could collapse. They said they're also looking at 2 other cities around Orlando, possibly closer to downtown, possibly near Camping World Stadium, but the main site, near the tourist corridor, remains the anchor pitch. And it's the hardest one to win over. Now let's talk about the wild card in this story, the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays have been in a tough spot. Their stadium, Tropicana Field, just took massive hurricane damage. They're playing the 2025 season in a temporary stadium in Tampa. Their $1.3 billion redevelopment plan for St. Petersburg's gas plant district, it's off the table. This opens the doors for the Dreamers. If the Rays hit the market, Orlando could buy them and shift the franchise 130 kilometers east. But here's the snag. MLB doesn't like teams moving within the same region. St. Pete to Orlando is too close. It splits TV markets, it confuses fan bases, and it sets a dangerous precedent. Still, the Dreamers believe they can win over the league. Orlando ranks number 15 in national media markets, bigger than Minneapolis, St. Paul, home to the Twins. They argue Orlando is ready. And they're betting big on tourism. With 80 million annual visitors, they say the stadium will attract tourists, not just locals. But most sports economists disagree. Tourists don't buy season tickets. They don't sponsor ad boards. MLB wants stable, local fan bases. Orlando's NBA and MLS teams rely on locals, not tourists. So if the Dreamers want this to work, they'll need to convince both fans and the league that Orlando can deliver both. The Dreamers have the vision. They've got the billionaires, they've got renderings, and they've lined up over $2.5 billion in funding commitments. But they don't have land, and they don't have political buy-in, and they don't have a team. They're pitching one of the boldest sports plans in modern US history, building a $2 billion stadium from scratch with no guarantee of a franchise. Will the Dreamers pull it off? Will Orange County say yes? And will MLB bet on Orlando? You'll find out soon enough. And stay ahead of the next videos. Make sure you hit like, drop a comment with your take, subscribe to Ultimate Mega Builds, and turn on notifications.